Hello, have you seen listeners? If you are a movie fan, which I would imagine you are if you're listening to this podcast, and your local theater is a Cinemark, let me tell you about Cinemark Rewards. Cinemark has two different levels of Cinemark Rewards. The first being the Cinemark Movie Fan, which is a free level. You sign up for Cinemark Movie Fan, you'll earn 1 point for every dollar you spend at the Cinemark theaters. You can redeem those points for tickets and other rewards. You'll receive member access to screenings and advanced tickets. You'll get an extra discount on Tuesday and other exclusive member offers. Now, if you're a bigger movie fan and you're willing to put some cash up, the Cinemark Movie Club is $9.99 per month. You'll get all of the above, plus you'll get one free ticket every month. Again, if you're going to the movies at least once a month, this is already paying for itself. One free ticket every month, 20% off all concessions, and if you upgrade to Platinum, it'll be 25%. You get to Platinum status by attending movies, by the way, but that's neither here nor there right now. You're just signing up. You won't be eligible right away, but eventually you could get up to Platinum status and get 25% off. You also have online fees waived. And that doesn't just apply to tickets. You can order your concessions online as well and pick them up once you go to the theater. Any unused ticket credits roll over to the next month. That means if you don't use your one ticket that month, it rolls over to the next month, and so on and so forth. So if you're worried, what if I miss a month? Then it's not paying for itself, Mike. Well, if you miss a month, it rolls over. You can watch two the next month if you like. Now, you'll also get member pricing for additional tickets you buy, and that is important. For more information, you can hit the link in the show notes. That'll give you the more details, and you can sign up today. Hello and welcome back yet again to another edition of Have You Seen? This is 2 episodes back to back, and really it's going to be 3 because we're doing 2 reviews here today, hopefully coming out at the same time. And I say we, I feel like it doesn't need an introduction at this point. It's Tyler Lennon. Reese was with me for one review just to kind of shake things up here, but Tyler is back. We're double dipping. Tyler, how you been?
Dude, I've been good. I feel like it's been a minute since we got to do this, so I'm excited.
It really has. I know you've been busy with
what's the last thing we did?
Was it
They Clone Tyrone, maybe?
Was it They Clone Tyrone?
That's gonna be tough to beat.
There might have been one after that.
I know we got the blackening. Talk to me.
Yes, talk to me.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, so we did talk to. I mean, we've been on a run of horror movies, I guess. Horror thrillers.
That's what I'm here for, man.
I mean, might turn this into a horror movie review podcast.
See, that's why I could never be like your only full-time co-host. It would just be a horror movie review podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we'll mix it up eventually, but I personally am not complaining about the horror movie reviews. With that said, we're here for today for It Lives Inside. This is one that you brought to my attention as well. Probably would have seen it either way just because I go to movies every week, but definitely know I had to see it because of your recommendation. Movie is starring Suri from Never Have I Ever, Neeru, Bajwa, Mohana, Krishnan, Betty Gabriel from Get Out, Vic, Sahay, Gage, Marsh. Is that the character name or the actor? Hold on. Double check. I messed that up.
Which one?
I feel like his name was the Gage Marsh. It was the. That is his name. The character's name was Russ. Yeah, his character name and his regular name fit like the same, like it fit a stereotype. So I was like, wait a minute, that sounds like what could have been his character name.
He could for sure be a Russ.
Yeah. Directed by Bishal Dutta. Let me know if am I pronouncing that wrong? Just making sure. And then story by Ashish Mehta. This is Bishal's directorial debut. And you have a personal tie to the director / writer. What you want to share that?
Yeah, so I believe they're married. They might not be married. I don't know, but I believe his wife or just longtime partner, either way, was a girl I went to high school with, have known forever, and one of the few people from high school that I like halfway kept in touch with, mainly because of movies. I always trusted her opinions on movies and stuff, and she'd been telling me for years now that like I need to be on the lookout for this. It's a great movie. I'm gonna love it. All this stuff, and of course, it's this was his debut, and you hear that from like a friend of high school, you're like, oh, in my head, it's gonna be like an indie movie or something. And then I saw it's like a major release. I was like, oh shit, okay, dope. And so yeah, I was very excited for that.
Yeah, it's always fun to have those like little personal ties, even if like this is yours is super personal, but like even when Skin Wade was talking about his nephew putting out a movie, I was like, oh, that sounds neat. And now he's got like 3 movies with like real like people. He's like a guy people are looking for out there in the market. So real interesting to have like people close to home to put out stuff and have it actually do well and get picked up by real studios. That's awesome. So
Yeah, I mean, we'll find connections just like we did the Influence or whatever. So you and I were looking at a movie recently. We're like, oh, Cassandra Node's in that. Like, I'm getting just connections from that kind of stuff. So
yeah, the deeper you get into the game, you start noticing a lot of crossovers. So for It Lives Inside, quick synopsis: an Indian American teenager struggling with her cultural identity has a falling out with her former best friend, and in the process, unwittingly releases a demonic entity that grows stronger, feeding on her loneliness. A lot of things in this movie that kind of sound like a pretty typical setup. Um, what expectations did you have? I know you said you've been hearing about it for years, so I'm sure there was a lot of anticipation on what this could be. But did you have any expectations other than that?
no, it really wasn't. I thought anyway, I'd heard it had done well, like at the festivals and stuff. But other than that, the one thing that she kind of said to me was that it's a good movie for like an introduction or an introduction to horror. So in my head, I was thinking, it's got a PG-13 rating, and she had said that, so I was kind of expecting not quite as much gore and maybe not going out of its way on jump scares and that kind of thing. And I would say, I don't feel like that's spoiler territory, but I would feel like that's a good example or a good way to describe it.
Yeah, no, and I don't watch trailers or anything like that, so I didn't know what to expect. You sent me a TikTok from a guy who was saying that he was hearing that it was the scariest movie of the year, which feels like almost every horror movie that comes out, somebody has said that about it.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny because I watched that TikTok again, and his description of what happens is not what happens at all in the movie, which I'll get into in the spoiler section. But elevator review for me on this one. Pretty straightforward horror premise. The big, I guess, thing that makes this one a little bit different is the Indian cultural touches that are there. But even with that, a lot of it is very familiar territory. It doesn't get too deep into the lore. Not more deep than is necessary for a new horror movie. Like it didn't have to be Indian. Basically, it could have been any culture that they were pulling from to tell this story. But how do you feel about it, elevator review wise?
Yeah, it would be something similar. I would just say it's a great movie for kind of again for maybe a younger audience, but also it's a coming of age story that we've seen a lot, but it's not told by the same white people with the same backgrounds. Like you're actually getting some diversity. You're getting introduced into different cultures. A lot of this was based in real life. I don't know if mythology or whatever the word you're looking for is, but if you're looking for something like that, it's perfect for that.
Yeah, so you mentioned coming of age and like that similar like story plot point, like jumping off point. So we do have a teenage girl, um, Indian girl, and basically a minority in her school, trying to fit in, has a boy that she has a crush on, and she had an old friend who was also an Indian girl who maybe is a little bit closer to the culture than she is right now. She's kind of trying to distance herself as she tries to assimilate, and she you could tell she still kind of cares about that friend, but knows that caring about that friend a little bit too much might mess her up socially. Which again, we've seen this story so many times, so many ways, and but it's nice again to see it from a different perspective, a different angle. Uh, any other thing as far as that goes that stood out for you?
No, to your point, we have seen that a lot, and even from like a white audience. You're just trying to fit in with a new group of friends. You have these old group of friends that maybe don't fit in; they're not the popular crowd or whatever. So you're trying to like, I still care for them, but I'm kind of distancing myself. So again, it's cool to see these kind of things that we've seen before, just from different voices. I like that.
Yeah. So on top of the what's happening with her in the school, she's also having some trouble at home because of this. I think her mom gets mad at her for not speaking the language at home. She gets mad at her mom for being a housewife at one point. I think she calls her out like, "Why did you even move here if you were just going to be a housewife?" The dad works all. I think he comes home at midnight, something like that. So they're barely spending time with the dad. He just kind of like is the breadwinner, so there's some family dynamic stuff happening there as well. How do you feel about I guess the acting in this one overall? Like
I thought the acting was solid. One, I was pumped to see Betty Gabriel, obviously from Get Out, from what all do we say, Unfriended Dark Web, from one of the Purge movies. Love Betty Gabriel. It was cool to see her. I thought she was great. I thought the cast was generally solid.
Yeah, she had a lot to do. I think the one way I'll describe the cast is that they were believable. Like every person felt like they were in the right role. Betty Gabriel as the caring teacher, I believe she could be a teacher of that
Mm-hmm.
nature. The girls felt like teenage high school girls the way they were acting. The guy she had a crush on, typical sophisticated jock kind of guy. Like he's a jock, he's cool, but like he's got a little bit of depth to him at the same time. Um, and then the dad, the mom dynamic, like all of that worked for me as far as like the acting. I had no problem like feeling like I was in the story. So that part of it I definitely appreciated.
Oh, I also want to point out the friend. I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but
Actor or
again, she's
actress?
the
The
character's
girl?
name.
I think it was Tamira.
Okay, she we don't. I mean, she doesn't have a ton of scenes, but I thought she was great.
Yeah. So, and in horror movies, you often have that character that doesn't necessarily say a lot, but they have like a lot to do as far as
Mm-hmm.
physical or whatever, like really selling to the horror of the story. And I think she did a good job with that. Mohana Krishnan. I don't believe I've seen her in anything at all. Gonna take a quick look. The Summer I Turned Pretty. Apparently, she was in that, which
Okay.
a lot of people are saying good things about recently. She's only had 4 credits to her name, but she was in 40 episodes of I Am Frankie. So I don't know how big of a show that is, but if it had 40 episodes, it must
To
be
have
popular.
4 credits, one of them be The Summer I Turned Pretty, and one of them be It Lives Inside. That's solid.
She's off to a decent start here. I think most of them
Mm-hmm.
are from this year and last year. Like 3 of the
Yeah.
4 are from this year and last year. Pacing wise, any thoughts on the pacing?
No, I mean, I feel like it paced well. I never once thought like, all right, get on with it or anything like that, but I also didn't feel like we were moving entirely too quickly. I thought the pacing was solid.
I agree. Only an hour and 39 minutes on the runtime. I know we talked recently about the number of movies that are coming out that are 2+ hours long. Nice to have some movies coming out that
If
are under 2 hours.
if there's one thing we stand on this podcast, it's a solid 90-minute movie.
Yeah, and it's hard to feel long when you're under 2 hours. So I don't think that ever became an issue in this one. I didn't feel like there were like repetitive beats or anything like that. The movie felt like it was always progressing towards something. Um, if you can say it without spoiling, do you have any favorite things about this movie that we haven't already addressed,
Oh,
or least favorite if you want to start there?
my favorite thing about this movie is every white person in it, no matter how well meaning they are trying to be, are still just awful people. Like, how many times was there a scene where, like, I'm not trying to be rude, and if this is culturally insensitive, I apologize, but that person's weird. It's like, oh, okay, we're doing a
Yeah,
lot right now.
yeah, and that's teenagers, right? Like it's realistic, so it didn't even feel
Oh,
off.
for sure, for
Didn't
sure.
feel off at all. But yeah, it was rough, and she didn't really defend the girl, so it's not much that can be said. And she can't because then she just becomes weird with her, right? Um,
No, it was spot on. I feel like.
all right. Favorite thing for me, I would say it has some good surprises, like not jump scares, but like usually you can kind of tell something's about to happen, and things might happen at that time, but it did not happen the way I expected it to a few times. And we'll get into that a little bit more deeply in the spoiler section, but I did like that there were some good surprise moments as far as the horror elements.
I think my favorite thing about this movie is it's very accessible, in my opinion. Like, even if you're not a huge horror person, I think you could still go watch this. And I know a lot of the time, anytime we get in like the realm of demonic or anything revolving like religion, that turns a lot of people away. And for some people, that's like some of the scariest stuff there is out there. But I don't feel like this is too scary for anybody.
Yeah, I would agree. Definitely not young kids, because young kids can't handle stuff they can't understand a lot of times. But if you consider yourself a person that likes a good thriller, but like too much can be a lot for you, you probably can handle this one for the most part. I would say. I think that's a safe bet. Least favorite thing. Least favorite thing, I guess for me, I would say. Again, I thought there were some good horror moments. I just don't know if it went, because, and this may be the accessibility thing. I don't know if it went far enough for me as a horror appreciator, I guess.
That would have been my biggest complaint as well. I felt like, again, if that's like, and maybe it was very much what you're trying to accomplish here is to not be too scary, to be very accessible, then like great job. But I feel like there were times where you probably could have pushed it a little further than that, and it still wouldn't have been, still could have been a PG-13 movie, still could have been a movie that wasn't overly scary or gory or anything. So there were a couple of times that felt like they really held back that I feel like I would have liked to see go a little bit further, but that would be my biggest complaint.
Okay. Anything we need to touch non-spoilery, or can we jump to the spoilers?
Nah, I feel like that's I think we're good.
All right, let's jump to let's take a quick break actually, and then we'll jump to the spoilers. Now, if you're a movie fan, what do people say? A date is dinner and a movie, right? Well, restaurant.com has you covered on the dinner side. Now, right now, they're offering different levels of packages. So you can spend $10 and get a $25 gift certificate to a restaurant near you. That's right. Spend $10 and get a $25 gift certificate. I know that doesn't sound right? Well, let me break it down for you. If you go to restaurant.com, or click the link, I should say, in the show notes to go to the restaurant.com page. When you get to their page, you put in your zip code, or if you're traveling, put in the zip code of the location that you're visiting. A list of restaurants in or near that zip code will show up. You pick the restaurant you're interested in, and a list of options will come up for that restaurant. So it may not be the 10 for 25, maybe it's a 5 for 15 offer, but regardless, you're going to get money off on your meal. Most restaurants will have a minimum purchase amount for your meal to apply, but that's why I asked if you like to eat here. For example, there's a barbecue spot near me that this deal works for. I can get the $25 certificate for $10, and the total purchase at the restaurant has to be $50. All in all, I'm paying $35 for a $50 meal, and that sounds good to me. But there is more. If you're flying solo and you don't think that you can buy $50 worth of food, there are lower options. There's one that says pay $6 for $15 off, or $4 for $10 off. It all just depends on the restaurants. So again, if this sounds interesting, just hit the restaurant.com link in the show notes for more information. Again, you'll go there, put in your zip code, and check out the restaurants near you where these discounts apply. And for your boy Bibs purposes, it is important that you go to the link in the show notes or the link at bibscorner.com on the support the show tab. Finally, if you're here, you also probably like television, and you may be looking at different options for cutting the cord, and one of those options is Philo. Philo offers 70 plus top rated television channels, including MTV, BET, AMC, A&E, Discovery, VH1, Food Network, Nickelodeon, OWN, History, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark, Paramount, TV One, and more. all for just $25 per month. Philo also offers premium add-on channels, including MGM Plus and Stars. Philo has live TV, unlimited DVR. That's right, not all these places have it, but Philo has unlimited DVR on demand, and content from top programmers are available on your web browsers. iOS, iPad, Fire TV, Roku, and Chromecast functionality on Android mobile devices. This is excluding first-generation Chromecast devices. And Philo's on-demand library features 75,000 movies, shows, and specials. Philo offers a 7-day free trial for new users, so you can sign up today, again, at the link in the show notes or at the link on the bibscorner.com website on the Support Your Show tab. You can click the link in the show notes. There are two, actually. The first one gets you straight to signing up if you don't have any further questions, if I've broken it down for you well enough. The second one will take you to a page that does have more details if you want to read a little bit more. All right, let's get back to the content. All right, we're back, and pretty straightforward non-spoiler section. We're getting to some spoilers here. I'll let you start. What's the first thing on your mind that you want to talk about that we haven't been able to touch yet?
So we had talked about the acting. I thought, again, like real early into the movie, her old friend, she's got the whatever, she's carrying around this jar or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I thought she was killing it acting wise. Again, she doesn't have any lines. There's nothing for her to really say, but she's I thought killing it.
Yeah, she that could have easily been too much in that area. Like she could have been extra weird, but I think the level of weird she hit was like perfect. Like when she comes to class like late and she's like kind of standing in the doorway, kind of hesitant, probably thinking maybe I shouldn't have this thing here, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then later when we see her like creeping around and we see her have to feed the thing, like the just that scene where she's having to feed it was pretty great. And then when she
what did she have? What was she feeding it with?
Some type of raw meat.
Yeah.
I was wondering if maybe she caught a mouse under the bleachers or what, but she found some raw meat from somewhere and decided that's what she wanted to give this creature or whatever. But yeah, even when she comes to her friend Sam, I guess, because she don't want to go by her Indian name. So when she confronts Sam and like is trying to explain it to her, like even that scene was done well.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like what all we need to. I'm gonna let you take it from here. Where are we going now?
Let's see. All right, so foreshadowing is fine, right? Like foreshadowing is good, but I think pretty early on it was obvious to me, and maybe I'm just getting real good at this thing because I've been watching a lot of like murder mysteries where I'm looking for clues. But like very early on, it was clear to me that the mom was like gonna end up being like pivotal to resolving this situation. Because I want to say in the first scene when they're in the kitchen, the girl says something and the mom says, "You're going to let the evil entities in," or something like that by doing that. But she wasn't joking. She was dead serious. So I was like, all right, so she takes this stuff seriously. She knows about it. She's going to be like the key to resolving this. And because of that, it annoyed me that the girl took so long to like tell her mom like what was going on.
Yeah, she definitely had multiple chances. I feel this. Since I was a young child, I've been obsessed with horror my entire life. And my mother, from a very young age, was like, you're allowing these evil things into your life. And so I guess if I ever get possessed or something, I'm going straight to her. She told me this was going to happen. She told me I was allowing these things into my life. Yeah, she I think, knew probably that she needed to go to her mom, but I think she just didn't want to have to explain, like, I'm in this really bad situation, and even though I've been pushing pretty hard against you and our heritage and all this stuff, like, I need help.
Yeah, and I think that's realistic as far as how kids act.
I do as well. If you can keep your parents out of it, you're going to keep your parents out of it.
I can figure it out myself. I'm not a child anymore, type of thing, and then you just get yourself in more trouble. That's 100% how kids navigate it. But as like a viewer, I'm like, please just go to your mom, like please, like just. And again, I'm not saying that's a bad story point, but I was so annoyed. Like, please just go. Like she has the answers, most likely. Okay.
To your point, I feel like not only do we watch too many of these that we're getting good at that, but like I don't want to speak for both of us, but wild ADHD, you pick up on patterns. Like you're the first person in the room to be like, oh, this is, you need to do this. This is gonna happen. This is where we're going with that.
What do you think about the book and the like paintings and stuff like that?
For adult, go on. What are we?
So like when they go to the house, they
oh yeah, she's got the book.
And she finds like the book that the guy had or whatever.
Yeah. I specifically remember the scene. So she takes it to the school, and I guess because she had seen her friend under the bleachers, is that why she goes to the bleachers? I guess.
Did she go to the bleachers?
Yeah, she's just chilling, sitting in the bleachers by herself, reading it. She goes. It's the middle.
She does go to the gym. I don't know why she went to the gym. That I did question that of myself.
I didn't know if maybe because she had seen her friend under the bleachers. One, are schools just open like that? I don't even know if you could get into the gym.
I also question this, especially in today's day and age. I believe they lock everything up.
But she goes in there. It's the middle of the day, which I thought it was shot beautifully. We get a really cool look at the town, and it looks very fall. It looks very rainy the whole time. It looks beautiful. It was super dope. But she goes in there, middle of the day. She comes out. It is pitch black. So she must have spent just all day in there reading through that book.
Yeah, that's just I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just a safe haven for her. Like she didn't want to do it at home and have her mom like see her or something. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting choice.
My first thought would be, I don't need this book. I don't want this book.
I mean,
there's some weird, ominous stuff in here. I'm good on it.
As soon as I start seeing weird stuff, I'm like, all right, I think I'm good. I need to give this to a religious leader or something. That's another thing. If you weren't going to go to your mom, I thought she would have at least taken it to like a religious leader or something like that. Like,
that or the dad seemed very understanding of all of it. So I feel like he was even the one that's like, let her go. She's doing some shit. Let her go. I maybe would have went to him before mom.
That too, because she did seem to have a better relationship with her dad. What was I gonna say? I did like how they figured out what was going on. With the book, first of all, the mom was the one that translated, or I know the teacher took a picture and like described what the demon was.
Yeah, so Betty Gabriel the whole time is her teacher, and she's probably crossing the line, but she's very supportive, very helpful. She's like, obviously something's going on. You need help, let's do it. And she, I believe, was the one that was like, do you remember your parents telling you about any of this stuff when you were growing up or anything? Because I found it and this is what it is. So like, yeah, she was on the case.
Yeah, that and then
almost cost her, but she was on the case.
Even in the beginning when she like tells her to like look out for a friend and she's like, we got to stick together. I guess that was kind of to establish that this is a very like white town. Like we can't, and she's putting herself with them. Like she's not Indian herself, but basically saying like as minorities in a town like this, like you can't like isolate yourself from people that look like you, because that's how you end up in a bad situation. So this again, they established that character well as far as her level of care and concern for these students. So then later when she's being extra helpful, it's not that surprising. I thought that the scene actually in the school was actually really great, like almost a thing where it's like she's been great in this movie so far. Let's let her have some fun. Like that was probably the best like horror wise, because I genuinely didn't want her to get hurt personally.
Oh, that was very actively like, I swear to God, if Betty Gabriel dies, I'm throwing a fit. And yeah, that was very well done. And I think that's a good point. Like you've done very well. Let's give you a scene to just go all out for a minute, and killed it, obviously.
Yeah, she had some fun, and shooting in the school probably was fun too. And they did a lot of fun horror stuff in that particular scene. It might have been the best like horror sequences overall. Period.
I think it probably was, yeah.
And I almost forgot like when I was thinking about the movie when I was taking my notes. I almost forgot most of that scene, but like right now playing it in my head, I was like, yeah, it was actually I was pretty riveted during that.
Yeah, that was solid.
Let me think. Was it her that realized the thing about it was the mom actually that told her like you can't do it alone? Like if somebody does it alone, then
there's one thing I want to go back to if that's okay, because we're already kind of like the final showdown. So she has been kind of, I don't want to say dating, but kind of seeing this guy, I guess. Russ, yeah. I think we said his name was. Yeah. They go to a party together, and he seems nice enough. He seems respectful, but he kind of pushes the line a few different times. Like she made it very clear, I don't want to dance. And like, you can argue, I'm just trying to get you out of your shell. But like he keeps pushing, but they do that. And then they go to the house. And he's going to help her Scooby-Doo solve this thing. And then for no reason, we're outside on a swing set, and he kisses her, and which he does ask for permission. We stand consensual seeking king. But as soon as he kisses her, he immediately lights up a joint, is like, we're getting high now, which they do, which they go ahead and smoke. And then immediately she starts hearing stuff, so she goes into the house. She comes out, and this man has been ripped to shreds, and no one in the town is like, that's weird. Like, they're just like
look at her weird.
Yeah.
They think she did it. Like, she grew teeth and fangs. Like,
whatever it was, ripped him to shreds, though.
Yeah, he got jacked up. Poor guy. He just wanted a piece. Anyway,
but I feel like there should have been more looking into that. Like, someone had died in that house previously, right? Why are you here anyway?
Right.
What are y'all doing? And now he's dead. I don't know. It just felt weird.
Yeah, that was so that scene actually was probably going to be my one scene that stuck with me the most, because I think that's the first time we really get to see
it is in
action. So I was like, oh snap, like this is rough. Like, he's like swinging in the air and like contorting. I was like, oh, okay, so this thing is not playing.
Thought they also did a pretty good job of like letting us see some of it and then just us hearing it, because a good portion of it we see it or hear it from her view. So like, she's in the house and she can hear what's happening outside, but she can't see it, and then she walks out and sees what it has done to him. Right. But they also do show us it killing him at like certain points of it.
Yeah, like, and again, the way that was done, it's effective, but it's not like it could have been more gruesome. You can tell about the sounds that you're hearing.
Yeah, for sure.
And they even like his death is off screen. Like, we find out later that he died from his injuries or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Which I kind of thought we were going to get a similar thing with Betty Gabriel. I was like, oh, we're going to find out that she's dead.
Yeah, I was going to be pissed if that was the case. Do you have your one scene that stuck out before we get to this conclusion here?
Oh, it was kind of that one.
Okay. All right. So
that or the school one, which we've already discussed. But
yeah. That one I remembered, and then I thought about the school. I was like, man, that could have been my pick too. So let's get to the conclusion. The mom explains to her how this thing works. There's like a prayer that they have to do or to contain this creature, and apparently the kid did it himself, and that's why he burned up. So we get that explanation, which is like the cold open to the movie.
Yeah,
that would call. So the mom is like, you can't do this yourself, and I'm like, cool, all right, you and the mom are gonna get this done. Bet. Then she takes off without her mom, and I'm like, you're real confident this girl is still alive, even though you're pretty sure she's gonna die soon. So like,
yeah, you better hope you're right. You better hope she's still alive.
Right, like, wouldn't it be great to have the option of having somebody else there just in case, like,
just in case we're too late.
And even if like you get there and then the clock strikes midnight, she's dead. Like, now it's just you, and now you don't have any backup.
Not to mention, if she's this close to being on the verge of death, she might not be helpful, you know? Which
looked like it was going to be the case for a second there.
And very much looked like it was going to be the case.
I was highly concerned she was about to burn up, and I was about to say, well, that sucked. But it works out. They have this little touching moment. They do the prayer together. And the twist, I guess, is we're expecting them to put the demon in a jar or a case of some sort. But, this is another thing I kind of considered during, they use the word vessel.
Yeah.
And she decides, wait a minute, I could be the vessel. And there's a drawing of the creature. What we were originally thinking was coming out of a mouth, she interpreted it as, what if it was going in? And so she lets the being go inside her.
I would argue maybe in the grand scheme of things, that might be a better call. Because, like, what if we break a jar like we've already done? You know, we're not going to break a person. Worst case scenario, I die, in which case, no longer my problem. Yeah. But also, especially when it comes like anything demonic or possession wise, you hear the word vessel a lot. And I feel like much more often than not, vessel does mean a person.
Exactly. And that's why I was thinking it like, vessel, like, why ain't put it in a jar? But usually when you hear vessel, you're thinking possession and stuff like that. So yeah, my whole thing was like, are they going to find a stronger container? Because the jar was kind of flimsy. That would make a lot of sense. And again, this is where I would have liked to have seen a religious leader involved, so we can get the best results out of this. I actually am weird. It's I guess that's a trope. That's a thing you see all the time is the sudden religious leader with all the information. So maybe they wanted to avoid that in this one, but I definitely anticipated that was going to happen. Instead, we get the mom. And how do you feel about that decision to? I mean, obviously, you said you think it was the better decision, but we then get some aftermath. How do you feel about where things end up going by the end of the movie?
Yeah, so we get that final shot of the whole family and her friend and Betty Gabriel. We're all together, and I think it's been like the 1 year anniversary, right?
Like a year later.
Yeah. And obviously they have to continue feeding this thing. So now she has to eat like raw meats and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, she had to eat from raw meat.
It was rough. I eat my steak rare and blue rare, but that's a lot even for me.
Yeah, they did the prayer again. Then she ate the raw meat, and I guess the creature was satisfied.
I wonder how often you have to do that.
I thought that as well. I was like, are they only feeding it on the anniversary? Or are they doing this like regularly? Like, does she know?
They did make the comment where her friend asked her, and she was like, you get used to it, or said something to that effect. So I guess we're having to do this fairly often.
Right. And I like, are we knowing when the creature's hungry? Like, I don't know how that was working. But then we get that final shot. The friend walks off, and then like a look comes across her face, and you can interpret it a few different ways. Is that the she's not herself anymore look, or is that the she knows something look about what's inside her and the fact that she may not be able to contain it forever, whatever the case may be? How do you interpret?
Yeah, that could go either way. Also giving you the option to run a sequel if you want to. So
yeah. Do you think it matters how you interpret it?
No, I don't think so. Do you?
Not really. I thought it's an ominous ending because it lets you know that some things it's not a happy ending. Like the look on her face is not happy. That's the last shot we get. So there's something that's not right. There's something that's amiss. And again, like you said, it could lead to a sequel, or just leaving us with the idea of, no, this wasn't a perfect solution. Like something, so there's still a problem here. So
yeah, nothing about it's like this is not an ideal situation. Like we've got it under control, maybe for how long, who knows? Like life isn't ever going to be normal again, probably, but at least we're not all dead.
Yeah. So, and we should probably point out that the friend at the end is back to her normal self, like not acting like a creepy person.
So, and they seem like they're on good terms again, so that's dope.
So that was cool. And I don't think we see any other friends after that, so I don't think it mattered.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts before we get up out of here on this one?
No, I mean it was a fun movie. I don't know how often I'll revisit it, but again, it was cool. One, I think there's always going to be a place for like, not YA. I don't know if YA is the word I would use, but horror movies for younger audiences. We're always going to need movies that help introduce the new generation and the new horror audience, and especially it's cool to just get it from different voices, from different perspectives, from different cultures. Like we've seen white people do it forever. We've gotten all those. Let's start hearing other people, start to tell some of these stories. And again, it was cool to get into some of the different like mythology and all this stuff. Like it was very cool. I'm here for that. It was my favorite parts of the movie, if we're being honest.
Yeah, and when I get these movies sent to me, a lot of times I get some foreign ones sent to me. There was a good one that was sent to me a couple of years ago. I believe it was called The Night. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Hopefully I can get it to come out.
The only problem, and it's not a problem, but as far as foreign horror goes, you've got to be already pretty deep into the game to be watching foreign horror. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because and I do believe the one I'm talking about was in English, but it's like Iranian leads and whatnot.
Gotcha.
And they do speak some of their language in the movie, and I think they changed the name of it, and that's why I can't find it right now. But it was like, again, it's a traditional horror movie, but with those cultural touches. I believe it was on Hulu, and I'm mad that I can't find it right now. But to give up, I'm gonna give it 5 more seconds. If I can't find it, I'm gonna quit. The Night House comes up. We already talked about that one thoroughly.
I'm trying to help you find it. I'm seeing a movie Under the Shadow. It's not Actually, Under the Shadow, is it?
I know how I can find it because I wrote a review about it on my website. I believe they changed the name, and that's why I can't find it. They might not have, but
this feels like an opportunity to remind everyone, if you didn't get to see Holy Spider, go see that. That movie ruled.
Holy Spider was good as well. Yeah, like I mean, a lot of times I get a lot of good stuff. I'm gonna look it up by the actor. I just found my review I wrote for it. I'm gonna look it up by the name of the actor. It's an IFC midnight movie. Where is all right? Written and directed by Karush Ahari. So let's look up Karush. Boom, boom, boom. And it's I believe I think they said it was Kubrickian horror. That's how they described it.
Yeah, The Night.
Yeah, it does come up as The Night. All right. It is on Hulu. There we go. Basically, the couple get stranded and go into a hotel, and weird things start happening. I believe the husband starts hallucinating. He's faced with like his guilt of something that he's done, type of thing. I again just classic horror stuff, but again from a different perspective and a lot of fun. So I like to shout out another movie when I get to do these reviews.
It's giving Watcher vibes.
Something like that. Like it's it's mostly in the hotel. I think they have like one scene where they're like with a group of friends or something where we get a little bit of why there's some tension in the marriage. But most of it's in the hotel or outside or around the hotel. Good stuff. All right. I think that's it. If you don't have anything else, thank you.
No, we didn't do our grading that we normally do.
Oh, snap. Yeah, let's do the grades.
Okay.
I gotta pull up the scale. I haven't done it in a while.
So for anyone that's hasn't been caught up, we are now fully on the bib scale, but we're both doing it and we're seeing what our combined score would be as well, I think, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me actually keep track of what I'm doing over here.
All right. You ready?
Yes, let's do it.
Did they accomplish what they set out to do on a scale of 1 to 5?
I'm gonna give that a solid 3.5.
I'm gonna go 4.
I almost said 4. You talked me into a 4 as well. We'll both go 4 there.
Right, 4 it is.
We can do halves though, right? Like a 3.5 is fine.
I think I usually stick with solid numbers on this one. It ends up in half because we have to accumulate them.
Gotcha.
But, yeah. All right. Overall entertainment value on a scale from 1 to 5. How recommendable would you say this is?
I'm gonna go a 3.
That's where I was headed as well. So we'll go for 4-3. So this makes this easy to track so far. Emotional connection to the story or characters.
I'm gonna go at least a 3 because again, we both felt very strong about not letting Betty Gabriel die. We both were pretty pumped that the friend was back to normal. But I don't know that I'm gonna go like a 4 or 5. I think 3 is solid.
We're on the same page again because I would have gone higher if it was the lead that I was attached to, but I can't say I was.
I didn't care at all when the boy died. That was fine with me.
And he wasn't like you said, he wasn't a bad guy, but
it was fine. Was he the only person that dies in this movie?
Besides the guy at the beginning, but
yeah,
I guess his parents who are already dead when the movie starts. So we're at what 4-3-3.
I think we're at 20.
What's that?
I think we're at a combined 20.
Okay, yeah, 4.
Because we're each at a 10.
All right. X Factor. Any great acting or something completely fresh that's worth boosting this movie on a scale of 1 to 5?
I'll actually go 4 here. Again, it's just cool to have I haven't seen a ton of American Indian, or how am I trying to word this? Indian American culture in horror movies, actually getting into some of the different cultural and mythology stuff. So for that reason, I'm gonna go 4.
And unfortunately, I think due to making it accessible, I don't know if they went deep enough in that for me, so I gotta give it a 2.
Right. That's fair.
Did it keep you on your toes or keep you guessing throughout?
Not really. I'm gonna go at 2.
I'm also at a 2 here. So I think that brings me to a 14 and you to a 16.
Yeah.
So overall 30 out of 50. It's not bad. 3 out of 5. That's a good movie.
That's out on 1 to 100. That's a 60.
That's an okay movie. It's a solid movie. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've always said on my own personal if I were to rank things on a scale of 1 to 10, a 6 is high for me. It is a 61% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 49% audience, so we're kind of right there.
Yeah. Let Let me make sure I write this down for myself so I don't forget later. Do we have like a chart we're keeping track, right?
I know. I don't have one. I know I said I was going to start doing that, and I can. There's still time.
Yeah, I mean, we only have a couple that we've done so far.
All I know is the Blackening and they clone Tyrone are like 1 and 2. I feel like.
Yeah, did I put it on? Maybe I put it on my big notes sheet. Give me a second.
I feel like we got damn near to like perfects on those.
We definitely gave the Blackening a perfect, I believe. Or no, we gave, I don't know which one.
One of them.
Damn it. I think I wrote it down. Let's see. The Blackening. I know I wrote this shit down somewhere. Hold on. Did I put it on here? Bear with me.
Either way, again, a 30 out of 50, solid from It Lives Inside. And again, I think it's still fairly recommendable. I think it's something that just about anybody could watch.
Right. All right, I gotta figure out where I wrote this shit down. Let me write down my rating for this one. This was It Lives Inside, right? Yep.
Yeah.
So I gave it a 14 out of 25. All right. We're gonna go total at a 30. All right, and I'll figure out where I wrote this stuff down because I know I did.
There is another episode people can listen to if they want to like an update on that.
Yeah. All right. Anything else that we need to hit?
Nah, I feel like that was it.
All right, well, I mean, it doesn't matter to y'all. The episode's over. So until next time, peace.